Just when they said it couldn't be done, the unthinkable happens. Ballin' and brawling, back from the dead, rising from the ashes like a phoenix. Justin Strnad, where is Waldo? He's like his favorite fighter, Jon Jones. He's been MIA. And we'll actually, what better way to bring this thing back than to talk about the bum, the rat, Jon Jones. He just announces his retirement. Obviously, we have to speak on this. Justin, welcome back. How's life been going for you? And can you talk about your favorite fighter in the world, Jon Jones, announcing his retirement? You don't have to tell me how your life's been going. I don't really care. Why did Jon Jones, you've been saying this whole time that he wasn't retiring, that he was going to fight Tom Aspinall. He retires in like the weirdest of circumstances. Can you tell me your thoughts on this?
Yeah, first and foremost, it's great to be back on the pod as always. We look forward to, getting this thing rolling and obviously Hebs has been holding it down, but we're looking to take this thing to another level here.
We're back.
Yeah, as far as the huge news yesterday, Johnny Bones Jones, the greatest fighter the sport has ever seen, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, steps away. I can't say that I'm 100% confident that he's done forever. I say 85% chance that he's done forever, but yeah, we obviously had a long wait there. I thought the fight was going to get made. We talked about it several times, and it got to a point where you were even kind of confident that the fight was going to happen. And then obviously, I think it is kind of clear, if I'm being honest, I do think the UFC, Dana just came out today and said that we offered him what he deserves for the fight. I didn't like that answer. That tells me that Dana probably didn't offer him exactly what he wanted. They probably offered him, that means maybe 10 million bucks or something like that, when John probably wanted 30, whatever. I'm telling you, the way Dana answered it, because if they would have offered, if John, I don't know what the number was that John wanted, but, and I'm not saying that they didn't meet it, maybe they did, but the way Dana answered it to me seems like typical Dana fashion, where like they offered him a lot of money, yeah, but probably not the exact number that he wanted. But either way,
don't you think John, because everyone's reporting that the number was matched. If it wasn't, don't you think John would say that? Wouldn't he be like, I'm not getting the number I want, I'm not fighting? Because he made it very clear from the jump. Like,
no, because I think he wanted like a certain number, whatever, but I don't think it's like not because he like needs it or anything like that. More of like, I just think he's like, all right, fuck it, that's fine. I'm good. Like, that's everything. I don't know. We're never gonna know exactly if the number was matched, whatever. Either way, it did seem like though that the fight was almost, that he agreed. It does seem that he agreed. He told Dana or whatever that he agreed to the fight, however long ago it was, and then obviously he retires yesterday. But look, the division moves on. We got to show our respect.
The division stinks. The division doesn't move on. It's the worst division in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, the division's a joke. We have fucking Jelton Almeida calling people out on Twitter when he just got fraud checked by Curtis Blades, who just lost to a guy I've never heard of yesterday. What are we talking about here? The division's a joke. That's why, I mean, if Aspinall can't run through it, he's already beat most of the people. If he can't dominate this division for a long time, it's kind of pathetic, if we're being honest. I say you make the Cyril Aspinall fight. I know Gain doesn't really deserve it, but I mean, who the fuck else is Tom going to fight at this point?
Dude, well, that I think, so there's a million things, right? First of all, like you said, we're never going to know. I really want to know, like, what happened behind the scenes, because it did seem we were getting a million. Dana said this fight is happening so many times. And as we've mentioned, that might have been his negotiating tactic, right? Because like if you make it public, like, hey, we're giving this guy what he wants. If he doesn't fight, it's in his court. Actually, he wasn't even saying that. He kept saying this fight's happening. This fight's a done deal. We're waiting to announce it. He literally said that multiple times. It went even one of the live streams, I think when he was announcing JDM Bilal or Ilya or some fight he was announcing, when he was like reading the comments, He's like, oh, announce Jones Aspinall. He's like, it's coming, it's done. He literally said it was done. So he has explaining to do. He needs to tell us what happened. And if it's all John's fault,
he never will. That's how Dana does things.
What was the question? Yeah, Jon was never taking that fight. I never said that.
He can always manipulate the situation and use the media to his advantage. He knows exactly what he's doing. He, like you said, definitely months ago when he was like, "Oh, this fight's happening," like, dude, that's just him trying to talk Jon basically into like force. Like, yeah, it's.
What I also, though, with the money, that's why it's interesting that you said that, because I know Ariel, all these people were reporting that the numbers were met. And the way Jon was reacting, I have to believe that, because it didn't seem like he ever wanted to fight. And another thing I'm going to say, another thing you and I have spoken about ad nauseum, if he, going into the Stipe fight, he said, this is my last fight, 2 legends facing off, this is my retirement fight. He gets in the octagon. Rogies hands him the mic. What's next? Everyone wants the Aspinall fight. He said, I've accomplished everything I can in the sport. I'm the greatest of all time. I'm done. This was my last fight. I'm officially retiring. If he said that a week later, if he said, let me go home, enjoy this, think about it, a week later, he puts out a statement, I'm done. I'm officially retired. It would not have gotten this bad. It would not have this is a lot of the blame goes on him, because he had no business fighting Tom Aspinall. He's pushing 40. In my opinion, he's the greatest of all time. If he retired after the Dom Reyes fight, I think he's the greatest of all time. If he retired after the Cyril Gane fight, I think he's the GOAT. Although at that point, he had ducked Francis, which we know. Shout out to my brother, Eric Nixick. We got the backs. What are you going to say about that, dude? There had to have been some. We've seen that the guy loves to duck people, so let's not even get into that.
It makes. Truthfully, though, if I'm Jon Jones, if I was Jon Jones, why would you fight Tom? There's no point.
Correct. That's what I'm. Why?
If he goes out and beats Aspinall, even at fucking 40, people are going to be like, yeah, it's Jon Jones. He's the greatest of all time. Come on. It's gonna be, well, Jelton Almeida could get Jon down and
no, stop it. That would not have been the narrative. But I agree.
Different. They beat the same.
What's the difference between Aspinall?
Almeida will beat the same guys that Tom Aspinall's beat.
Literally, dude. I agree.
Wait, hold on. Aspinall's best wins, just real quick, are Papovich. Almeida will take him down, beat him easily. Fucking who's his second best win? Blades. Blades fraud checked Almeida. I give him that. And then who's Volkov? Yeah, Almeida.
Sergey Spivak.
Volkov will take him down immediately and fucking beat him. So it's just this division.
Okay, I agree with all that.
Throw Alex Pereira in this division as soon as Ankalaev mops the floor with him in the rematch.
We have video evidence of you saying that every heavyweight beats Pereira. That's another thing I'll say. I think that they were ready. If Pereira beat Ankalaev that night, they were making Jones Pereira. I think he was ready to move up and fight Jones. Like, I think they were, because it took a turn in March after that fight. It definitely took a turn. Because Jones said, I want that fight. And I mean, Dana wasn't shutting it down. So, but again, I think so much of the blame goes on Jones, because if he said, as someone who's done a lot of hating on Jones, as someone who's, playing into this whole, he was ducking Aspinall, kind of half kidding. I really think, because the Stipe fight was already made, and Aspinall was not Aspinall at that point. Like, he went and he got called up to fight Sergey. And that's kind of when this thing started to build. Because another thing, bro, this could not have gone any better for Aspinall. In the last year and a half, if Aspinall was picking up wins versus Cyril Gane and Jelton Almeida and a Volkov Reem, none of that can carry the weight of, now he gets to say that Jones ducked him. Like, it doesn't, like, this was the best possible, obviously the best possible outcome would have been knocking out Jon Jones, actually getting that fight. But the second best above of any other heavyweight contender is going through this whole saga and now getting to say that Jones ducked him. But again, if Jon just retired after the Stipe fight, some people would have called him a duck, but we would have moved on immediately. The fact that he said, I don't know, mate, like, he's like, I
don't think he did it. I really think he didn't know at that time. I really don't. I think he wanted to kind of weigh his options, and I know it took longer than it should have, but obviously he's gonna sit there if the UFC is not gonna do anything. He's just gonna he's gonna
It
sit
seems like
around.
the UFC gave him money though.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know who. Well, maybe it'll come out. I don't think it ever will come out, but I just think if John really wanted, like, if it was an absurd number and they matched it, I don't know. Who knows? We'll never know.
All right, yeah, but that is my like trying to give, because Jon Jones is getting ripped to shreds right now. Everyone's saying he's ducking. That's my take. If like I really don't think people would have been as mad if he said, because he was saying I'm not fighting Tom. He played into this so much before. He played into it so much, it was very clear that he was trolling before the fight. That's why I kept starting to flip. I was like, oh, actually, this fight's going to happen. There's no way he's going out like this before the Stipe fight. And then after, he's like, I don't know, like if I get that money, like we'll see. And then then the stance, he changed his mind so many times. It's so weird. Dana is the one who has a lot of explaining to do, not John. Because again, I think John, he's still solidified. This really does hurt his legacy, in my opinion, because again, he played into it. Bro, I said
does not hurt his legacy, bro.
After
Hebs, what were you doing in 2008? Were you born just?
I was tugging on my dad's shorts for a couple nickels when I heard the jingle of the ice cream truck. That's what I was doing, dude.
This guy's been doing this for so long. It's ridiculous, dude.
Correct. And there was pretty much
nothing tarnishes his legacy. I'm saying this has no. You don't ever, dude. Calling Jon Jones a duck is ridiculous. The guy's fought everybody. He's fought everyone he was supposed to fight in his career.
You're crazy, bro.
Listen, you could say this if that's the case. Let's fucking get on GSP, because GSP ducked Johnny Hendricks in a rematch when Johnny Hendricks beat him, and that's a duck. That is a.
And then he ducked Whitaker and Yoel and everybody. Like, that's true. Yeah. No, that's a very funny thing, because a lot of people are saying this makes GSP the GOAT. I've seen that in the last 24 hours. Like, GSP had this. It shows you how young the new fan, because like all UFC fans came in like 20 and 21 and all this.
Yeah.
Like that is GSP is known for that. Like, and I think GSP is the second greatest of all time. But like, he definitely, like, I mean, Dana called him a duck after Hendricks.
And Dana literally at the press conference called him
that was one of the greatest. He was coming on like the second greatest title reign other than John all time, and that's how Dana was celebrating, saying like this guy is completely running from Hendricks.
And then he came back in to fight Michael Bisping. Like, come on, bro.
When middleweight was hot, they had Whitaker and Yoel Romero, and then
in bold take, if he doesn't land the spinning, wasn't it a spinning kick? If he doesn't land,
he just clipped. He landed a spinning.
He clipped him with But if he doesn't get him out of there when he did, he was gassing and he was gonna. I'm telling you, he was.
That's a crazy fight. Like GSP came out looking as good as he ever had. You say the spinning, because he landed a crazy spinning kick that clipped him in the second round. Like everyone was shocked. They're like, this might be the best GSP has ever looked. And then he looked great. And then
he looked great, but I'm saying if you like compared to his prime self, it was night and day. The speed, his body, he was gassed after like a round. It was like
that's
crazy.
Fair. But then in the third round, like he was really gassing. Like they were saying, like Bisping was coming on. Bisping had all the momentum, and then he got clipped. But yeah. So again, I think he's still the GOAT. If you don't think this affects his legacy, you're nuts, bro. Like again, I think just the way that he handled it. If he said, I'm not fighting this guy, no chance, I retired. If you retired however many months ago, and then even the way Dana White announces it at a post-fight night press conference in Baku, like that is the least ceremonious for a guy who's supposed to be the GOAT. That is ridiculous. And then John comes out after and says, I officially retired. John has the last month, Tom Aspinall went on DC and Chael, and he said, you guys don't know, Jon Jones has retired. And everyone's like, is he being serious? Is he trolling? And then John goes on the Nelk Boys show, hammered, and he's like, dude, I'm not fighting. He's like, I don't know. I don't really have the itch anymore, dude. I think I'm probably done. Maybe I'll fight at some point, but not right now. And everyone's like, is he trolling? And then Dana's like, the fight night card in Baku, when everyone's like, oh, who gets the $50K, dude? And he's like, oh, Jon Jones is retired, actually. Like, that is the way the
after a Jamal Hill snooze fest.
We're not even going to get into that fight, dude. I don't even. But Jones is a duck. Happy trails to the guy. I don't know if you saw that there's a potential little bit of a story going on. That Jon Jones maybe did something bad that we won't get into. Yeah, let's not get into it. But I don't know where that ranks on his top 14 misdemeanors and whatnot. But Jon Jones, this does.
We're not going to bash the greatest of all time. Listen, we don't
play we don't do politics.
Yeah, we don't do politics here.